Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Please ensure to like, share, and subscribe. And also click the bell notification in the top right-hand corner to be made aware anytime I upload tutorials or videos to YouTube. All right, let's craft together. Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to recreate a design in Microsoft PowerPoint. I'm going to be using the large greeting card here, and this is to keep you from having to start over from scratch and remember this is where, the front of the card is, this is where the back of the card is. You're simply going to take one of the designs that you've already followed in my previous videos. Excuse me, you're going to take one of those designs and you're basically just going to duplicate the slides. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So here is my original design of my card. Now I don't want to start over. I want to create another new edge card, but I want it to be just similar to this design here with an image of somebody hanging off or, kind of hanging off the front of the card, with some words here and something on the back, and then, the inside of the card. Okay. So what I did is I went in and I clicked on one slide. I held down the shift key on my keyboard and I clicked on the second slide. What that's going to do is highlight both of these slides, and you can see that there's like a line going around each one of them. Okay. Then I'm just going to right click and say copy. You can also say right click and duplicate slide. Either one will work. Okay. So I'm going to say copy. Now I can right click and say paste. And it just added those two slides into my presentation here. Okay. So now I can go in and I can design a new edge card without having to interfere with the previous edge card that I did. So this one is still here. I'm going to be designing on this one. Okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to change this up into a new edge card. The first thing I want to do is replace my image here. So I'm going to click on the image, and then I'm going to right click and say change picture, and I'm going to choose it from a file on my computer. Then I'm going to go to my desktop, and this is the image that I want to work with. Okay, so I'm going to select that image and insert. And you see how it places the image right in. I didn't have to do anything because it basically positioned her where this character initially was, or this image initially was. Okay, so replacing the image is just that simple. Now, there are some times when your image is not, so this one was just someone standing up and she was standing up, so it was pretty easy. Sometimes you'll get an image that is proportioned, or the outline is a little bit different, and you may have to maneuver it around a little bit. Okay, so you can see how her arm, is right there. So it's going to look good when we, cut that off. Okay. All right. So now we have her here, and I'm just going to bring her down just a little bit because I don't want any portion of that to any, part down here. So when I cut it, I'm going to go in and cut it, just like that. So she's hanging off the edge. All right. So I don't want to start over with, what I'm going to put here. So I'm going to type in and I'm going to say, I want to replace this, and I'm going to say, hey, babe. Okay. Now I may not like this color. I may want to make this a different color, and we'll talk about that here in just a moment. All right. So I'm going to change this background to black. Okay, so that means that this uplifting my sister it's not going to show up very well, and I don't want to say uplifting my sister, so I'm going to make this a Valentine's card. So I'm going to say to the man, let's see, from your sweetie. That's what I'm going to say, from your sweetie. This is normally who created the card. Okay, so this will be like Hallmark, or whatever on the back of your card. So you want to make it something personal to you, the person that is creating the card. Or if someone is purchasing a card from you to give to someone, you could put their information here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to say from your sweetie, and then I'm going to change this from this black color, and I'm going to go white. So all I did was highlight my text, and then I'm going to go up to my font area and select white. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because I want to change this to black, okay, the square. So now I'm going to click on the square. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to come down to Format Shape, and I'm going to select Fill, Solid Fill, and I'm going to choose the drop down arrow and select black. And so now I have the Hey Babe and from your sweetie. Now, since this is white, you can change it to red. You can change it to whatever color you want to. The Hey Babe, I'm going to leave it in red because I think that looks kind of sexy. But that is how you can go in and do that. Now, if you want to get rid of this text altogether, you can. You can start over. So I'm going to say insert text box. And I'm going to do, Hey Babe. And it looks like nothing's there, but that's because the text is in black. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to red or the darker red. And I'm going to increase the size by going up to my little font area here and click that drop down arrow. And we're going to give it about a 36. And then I'm going to click the drop down arrow for the font. And I'm going to use a different font this time. So let's see what I want to use. Oh, that's kind of pretty. This is Angeline. I want to try that. And then I'm going to put it on bold to kind of thicken it up a little bit. All right, so now I have Hey Babe. I can remove some of this extra space because I don't need that. And so kind of bring it in. Now, if you want to kind of make this text a little bit funky, and change the shape of it, you can do that. All you're going to do is you're going to click the text and you're going to come over to your, hold on one second. There we go. I'm going to click on Shape Format, and then I'm going to click on Text Effects. And then I'm going to come down to ABC Transform. So this is where you can actually make it, rounded or, kind of like what you do in Cricut Design Space. This is where you can do that here, okay? And you can see as I'm just laying my cursor on each one, it's showing me what it will look like. So before you click it, you can get that visual, okay? So I want mine kind of rounded a little bit. So I'm just going to curve it just a little bit. And I may choose another font because this one is kind of, going to go back to the home here. Even though I made it a little bit bigger, I want the boldness of it a little bit better. So let me see if I find something a little bit more sexy with thicker lines. Let's see what I come up with. So as I'm scrolling through, I can see what it will look like before I actually click on it. All right, so I kind of like that one. That's kind of thick. All right, so I'm going to go there. And then I'm going to go in and let's see. Once you put that, I'm going to go back to Shape Effect and Text Effects, ABC Transform. And I'm going to take that off for a second because once you change your text over here by going to Shape Effects and Text Effects and you transform it, you can't change the size. So I took the size off. I took the transform off so that I could come back to home and change the size because I want to make it a little bit bigger without having to drag it. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to come over just a little bit. So this one is Broken Heart. That's the font that I'm using. I got that from the font. All right, so we're going to go with that, and then I'm going to center it here. And I'm going to go back now to Shape Effect, Text Effects, ABC Transform, and then I'm going to select which one I want. I kind of like that one. So I think I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. And you can kind of shift it a little bit here. All right. Keep in mind, don't, go too far, because where her arm is, that's almost the cutoff, the half mark. That's the half mark point. So you do want to make sure that you still have it on the front. Okay. So that shows you that red line that's going down the middle of my screen. That's letting you see where the front of the card is versus the back. So the front is where she is, and then the back is where I have the From You Sweetie. All right. So this presentation, guys, is not for the first time you look at one of my greeting cards for PowerPoint. Okay, so you might want to go back and look at the tutorial where you'll see this little lady right here. And I designed out from the beginning the edge card and how to do this. Okay, this is for the people that are following me that have already used this PowerPoint design to make a greeting card. I'm just showing them how they can go in and change this card without starting over. And you'll be able to do the same thing soon. Okay. All right. So I also want to replace the inside. Okay. So now we're working on the inside of the card. I got my back. I got my Hey Babe. Now I want to replace this. So I'm going to go click on it and say change picture from file. And again, I'm going to go back to my desktop and I'm going to select her and insert. And you see how it puts her into position and everything. Okay. So I didn't have to, turn her around and all that good stuff. Same thing with the text. All you have to do is highlight it and retype in what you want. Now, what I like to tell people is, number one, it's hard to tell what you're typing when it's upside down, right? So for this particular time, I would go and I would click on Shape Format, Rotate, and I would flip it back vertical, just so that I can see what I'm typing. And then when I'm done, I'll flip it back. Okay. So I'm going to say hugs and kisses and Valentine's wishes. Okay. Now I got that in hugs and kisses and Valentine's wishes. Now I'm going to go back to shape format, rotate, and I'm going to flip it back vertical. Just that simple. Okay, again, I want to be able to see my text. So I'm going shape format, rotate, flip vertical. And I'm going to say, I'm all yours. Okay, got that in. We're going to click back on rotate. We're going to flip it back vertical. And it's just that easy. Okay, so you flip it vertical, type in what you want so you can see the direction it's going in, change your text, because you can change your text and all that good stuff. All you have to do is highlight it. If you want to stay consistent with the text that you have on the front, then you can do that. So we have the recently used, and I think I chose broken heart on the front, so I can go with broken heart to keep it consistent, but it's a little bit hard to read, so I'm going to undo that. I don't like the broken heart on the text here, but it's cool with just simple words like, hey, babe. Okay. All right. So that is how you can go in and update your design without starting all over from scratch. Okay. So now that I have this design in, I could go in again, click both, click the first slide, hit shift on your keyboard, click the second slide, right click and say duplicate slide. And it's going to give you your new set of slides here. Okay. So again, don't mess with this one. If someone comes to you and they say, can you create that card for me? And I wanted to say blah, blah, blah. You already have your format laid out with your lady here. All you got to do is change maybe what they want on the front, possibly the back and the inside, but your layout is here. Always click on that file save, because you never know when your computer might stop, working or something. So click save, file save. And notice I have this saved as my large greeting card. So anytime I want to do a large greeting card, I already have my design out here. And this is my large greeting card for the edge. Now, since I already have this greeting card out here, If I don't want to do an edge card, I don't have to, okay? All I have to do, guys, is just take this, click on this shape, and bring it over to the right, or excuse me, to the left, and it's going to show me where the center of my it's going to show me when I reach the center. So there is a red line that is going down my page right now. That's to let me know that that is the center of this page. Okay. So if I didn't want to create an edge card, I don't have to cut her off. I could have her just like that on my card and have this to be the complete front of the card and then this to be the back. Okay. And if you don't want, that box, all you have to do is delete it. You don't have to have that box, okay? But just make sure that you go in and don't delete out your information that's on the back, okay? So, excuse me, you can do that. I can go back if I made a mistake and let's say I really did want that box and I really did want to do the edge card. Your undo is here up on the top left, this little arrow pointing to the right. That's how you can click to undo. So if you do something, you need to fix it, you just go up to undo, don't panic, okay? Now, let's say that I wanted to make this, I'm going to change this to white. And then I'm going to go in and click on my shape here, and I'm going to change it from a solid fill of black to a solid fill of red. Okay, so now I have a new design going on with just changing, the color on that box. Drew a blank here for a second. Okay. So that's how you can do that, guys. It is so simple to design in Microsoft PowerPoint. And I hope that you guys are, getting this process down because eventually you'll be able to take this and do even better than what I have created here in Microsoft PowerPoint. Because a lot of people think of Microsoft PowerPoint as just presentation software, but there is so much you can do in Microsoft PowerPoint. And so that's what I'm trying to help you to understand. I'm not trying to tell you to replace Cricut and designing in Cricut. I'm just trying to show you a way that you can design in Microsoft PowerPoint using one sheet of cardstock and not multiple sheets of cardstock by having to, cut so many images and stuff out, and also being limited to a size restriction for your printing of 6.75 by 9.25. So this is just an alternative. When you can't do something you want to do in Cricut Design Space, you have also Microsoft PowerPoint that you can use. And a lot of people have Microsoft PowerPoint on their computers and just don't use it. Instead, they'll go out and purchase additional software when you have some software here you can use. So that's the reason I do this, guys. Okay. All right. So now we have our Valentine's card. We got one with black. If you're selling these, you can go out here and make a combination of different colors, to appeal to people. So now I got a black, I got a red. I can even come out and change that shape now to a blue color. I can make it even the color of her dress or parts of the dress. So what I can do is take that shape, come back over to the format shape, and this time I'm going to choose a gradient. And then I have two gradient stops right here. So what I'm going to do, if you have more than two, all you have to do is click on one and delete it. So actually, let's do that. I'm going to add one. So let's say I didn't want three gradient stops here. All I have to do is click on the one I don't want and click on the little X, and it'll delete it. Okay. If I want to make this shape colors from her dress, I'm going to click on that first gradient stop, come down to the color and click on the down arrow, and I'm going to select eyedropper, and I'm going to select a color from her dress, and then I'm going to click on the second gradient, come down to the color, and I'm going to select eyedropper, and this time I'm going to select a darker color from her dress. Okay, so now we have the Hey Babe. We can change what color that is in. Let's get something kind of funky here. Oh, that green is pretty on there. We could even make it the color of her hair. So I'm going to make the text the color of her hair. I highlight the text, come down to eyedropper, And I'm going to take the color for here to make the color for Hey Babe. Okay. So there's so much potential here. I wanted to show you guys that. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to print out this card. And let me see which one I want to print out. Which one is prettiest? I think I'm going to print out this black one. I think it looks kind of sexy. So I'm going to print out the black one. And then I'll cut it, cut it out, show you how I cut it out and all that good stuff. But if you want to learn how to do this from the beginning of how to create a large greeting card in Microsoft PowerPoint, go back to my YouTube or go through my YouTube and look for the video that has this little lady on it. Okay, the video that has this little lady, and that will take you from the beginning to the end of how to create a large greeting card in Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay. All right, guys. So that is it for this portion. And then I will show you how to put this card together once I print it out. Okay. All right. Stay tuned. All right, guys. I'm going to walk you through the settings that you're going to choose to print this card out on the one piece of cardstock. Okay. So I have my image here. This is what I'm working with. So I'm going to click on File, Print, and where it says Settings, I'm going to change that drop down to Current Slide. You want to make sure you have the appropriate printer that you're going to be using. And then I'm going to click on my printer properties. And I'm going to tell this that I want it to print from the main tray. I'm using other matte inkjet paper, letter size, and I want this on best. And everything else is good. You want to, the main thing to get from this part is that this should definitely be on print current slide. Print current slide, okay? And at this point, I'm going to click on print. I have one sheet of cardstock in my printer, and the reason is because when I get ready to print the inside, I don't want it to print on a second sheet of cardstock. So to prevent that, and to allow me to come over and change my, click back on the slide that I wanted to print, I just put one sheet of cardstock in the printer. So now I'm ready to print. I'm going to click on print. And we're going to let that print out. And while that's printing, I'm now going to click on the inside of the card. And while that's printing, I'm going to click on the inside of the card, and I'm going to go right back to File and Print. And I don't have to change anything because my settings have already been selected from the previous slide. Okay, so remember, print current slide. And once your first, the front and the back side of the card finish printing, we're going to place it back into the printer. So once it's finished printing, I'm going to talk you through now how to put this back into your printer so that it prints on the inside of the card now. So I'm using regular cardstock. I'm not using any glitter cardstock. Glitter cardstock turns out really pretty for these edge cards, but I'm not using glitter cardstock. You also want to make sure you have a really thick grade of cardstock when you're doing these so that when you fold them in half, they don't look, really bad. So the thicker the cardstock you're using, the better, okay? All right, so I'm going to grab my image over here. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take, I have a front loading. I'm using the HP OfficeJet Pro 7740. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place my image back into my printer and in that front loader in the main tray. And the image of the lady is going to be closest to me, okay? the back of the card is going to be facing the printer, like going directly into the printer. So you want to make sure that the image is closest to you when you place that piece of paper back into the main tray. So we're using the very same piece of cardstock. And if you need to get the visual, like I said, go back to that very first video I did with the lady with the pink dress on, because I talk you through everything there. This is a hybrid of that video, okay, for those of you that have already created the edge card. All right, so you're going to place that same sheet of cardstock back in your front loader, and you're going to have the image of the lady that says, "Hey, babe," that's going to be closest to you when you place that cardstock back in the main tray. So I'm going to place this back in my printer. Give me one moment. Now that I have that same piece of cardstock loaded, I'm going to click on print. And now that's going to print the inside of our card. All right, so now that that's printing the inside of the card, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up on the camera and I'm going to show you how I fold my card, and then we'll cut it out and we'll be done. All right, so I'll see you in a moment. All right, guys, so here is my card, and she turned out gorgeous, okay? And that's the inside. So this is the front of the card, the back of the card, the inside of the card, and then this is that extra inside that you can do additional writing if you so choose, okay? So what I like to do is I like to fold my card in half, and I always wait just a second to kind of let that ink dry, because, you know, for this, you're using a good bit of ink. But I fold mine on the inside, okay? Just like that. And that helps me to ensure, you know, that I got it folded in the right direction. Just like that. And then I take it, and now I bring it and go ahead and fold it here, okay? And notice there's not any, you know, breakage of my paper or anything, okay? So now I'm going to take my scissors. This is the manual part. This is the part that we take for granted in Cricut, right? All right, so this is now where I'm going to go in and cut out her. And it's up to you if you would like to leave a little bit of white. Normally, I don't, unless I just, you know, cut it wrong. But it doesn't take very long, guys. You know, if you don't have an image that's like, you know, very intricate with a lot of little pieces, which I highly would not recommend for the edge card, then, you know, something like this is really easy to do. All right, so we're just going to take our time. Remember, I said listen to some nice, you know, music playing in the background. If you got a couple of these to do, get you a little glass of wine or some Kool-Aid if you don't drink. You know, a glass of water will do. And just take your time and cut your image on that edge. Okay, so you guys can see I'm almost done here. We're cutting her out, so it is not hard to do, and the outcome is always beautiful. I love these edge cards, and I want to give kudos to a lot of people that I've seen do them. Oh my God, you guys are just showing out. I mean, yours look better than mine, which is what I want you to do. I want you to take this PowerPoint design and make it your own. Make it your own, baby. All right, so I'm going to come up to the top and clip that little part. And you can see I have her now cut out. And bring that down. And there she is, cut out. And it's kind of hard for you guys to see it. But here we have our edge card. And we've cut her out. Now I can take my X-Acto knife to go in and get the inside of that arm. And matter of fact, I think I will do that. I'm going to try it with my scissors. I'm just going to punch a hole in the very center of her arm so you guys can see where I have that hole in the center of her arm. I'm going to stick my scissors through in the center instead of going directly, close to her arm. I'm going to put it on the center, and then I'm going to go ahead and stick my scissors in and cut out the inside of the arm, little area here. But you can also use an X-Acto knife. Whatever works to get it done. I think this would be really pretty on some glossy cardstock. I think this would be really pretty on there because it would make the colors pop even more. I don't really think it'll be prettier on the glitter. And so now you can see I've cut out her arm there. So there is my edge card with her cut out. You can see she's completely cut out, minus the part that we have hanging over on our card. Okay. And that is how I do it. Now you could go in and, clip this bottom if you like to make it even. And sometimes I do because Microsoft will put that little border around, so I just take it and place it in here and line this baby up to get rid of that white, and I don't have to worry about it interfering with the inside of my card because of the way I have everything positioned. So that's good. Let's see what we got before I take it off. I think I got a little bit more, could have got right there. I'll push that down a little bit. And I don't think I had it as straight on there as I could have had it, so I'm going to come over and finish it up with my scissors. All right, so now that takes away that little white border and it doesn't impact my inside. And so now you have your edge card all decked out, guys. All decked out. She is sitting perfectly. Okay. So that is how I create the edge card in Microsoft PowerPoint and one sheet of cardstock to do the whole shebang. Okay. All right, guys, that is my story, and I am sticking to it. Like I said, I have enjoyed seeing in my Facebook group, Ken Dorsey's Cricut and Creative Crafters, all of the edge cards that you guys are creating. Again, this tutorial was just about showing you how to go in and change everything around without starting over. So now I have this edge card with this design, and I also have the previous edge cards that I've created. So I can just keep a rolling rolling slides going of the edge card without starting over. Okay, same thing with the small greeting cards that I showed you. Just duplicate the slides, change out your image, your text, your colors, and you don't start over. Okay, so copy your slides or duplicate your slides. Either one will work, and start with the new duplicated slides. And also make sure you always file save because you never know what's going to happen. Okay, just like Cricut Design Space sometimes have issues. Your Microsoft might just shut down. So always, as you're designing in Microsoft PowerPoint, hit that file save. Sorry, guys, hit that file save so that you can not lose your work, because it's nothing like getting that card completely designed and all of a sudden your power went out or something, and information didn't save. Now sometimes PowerPoint does a good job with autosave. That's if you have your autosave on. In the top left corner of your Microsoft PowerPoint, it says autosave. If you click that to on, it's a little radio button. You can click it to on, and what that does, it will automatically save your work for you should the power go down or something like that. Okay. All right, guys, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Also, on my YouTube channel, there is a large greeting card envelope that I walk you through how to create the large greeting card to accommodate this size card. For the smaller ones, where you can get two cards in one that I show you, I refer you back to Cricut Design Space to use one of their greeting card templates, because they have a lot of the smaller greeting card templates, but not the larger ones. So I show you how to do a large greeting card for this. Okay. All right, guys, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. If you're currently subscribed to my YouTube channel, I want to thank you guys so much for following me on YouTube. So much. Thank you guys so much for the support there. If this is the first time you're seeing me and you like my method of teaching, then please, please, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I beg of thee. And also, please like, share, and click that bell notification so that you can be made aware anytime I upload tutorials or videos to YouTube. Also, if you would like to join my Facebook group, Candoris's Cricut and Creative Crafters, then please send me a Facebook group request to Candoris's Cricut and Creative Crafters, because it is a private group that will get you into the group as well. All right. All right, guys, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. It's the Edge card of Microsoft PowerPoint. All right. And you know, my motto is each one reach one so that each one can teach one. And you guys have a good day. Bye.